Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? Okay. So, Scorpio, our card tonight is the Princess of Swords. This is all about intellectual power, a truth seeker, self-improvement, the desire to improve the world around you. And I think usually this is through the dissemination of ideas, passions, beliefs. Just had to get rid of some of that tea so it did not knock things around as I'm reading. Okay, so let's see. Interesting, we have another 4. My last reading we had a 4, and this one looks like it could even be 4 and a 1. And just go right over here. This one looks like a 1 and an 8. So we have a 1 and a 4, 1 and an 8. Actually, this one kind of looks like 17. That's the 4 turned around. So 14, or no, 4 and 1, right? 41. We have 41. We have 1 and an 8. And then we have a 17. So, I don't know what those numbers mean to you, but maybe write them down and look out for them. They might be coming around. Okay, let's see. So, this one is so interesting to me. On one side, it kind of looks like a large flame, okay, coming out of maybe like a torch. And on this side, it looks kind of like the Sacred Heart, which is the heart with the flame coming out of the top of it. So, to me, this says, this is kind of that illuminating light, especially on this side, okay? And so, I feel like this makes sense. I think that Scorpio, you are often drawn to a mystery. You like to figure things out. You are very perceptive. You are definitely one of those people who kind of sit back and watch what's going on. You are good at clocking people. Which means you're good at working out people's nature, their behaviors. You can look at somebody and can say, they probably do this kind of job. They're kind of this kind of person. This is what they're probably going to do or what they're doing. You know, you just are really good at reading people. And I feel like as I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing up here, we have in this kind of up on the edge here in the emotional but also the spiritual zone, we have an owl, okay? And the wise old owl loves to sit and watch, loves to see what's going on. And I think of something very much related to the night side, things that get down in the night. And so I feel like you have a proclivity for all things like true crime. Like you're watching the documentaries, you maybe read the news, follow along. You might even be one of those web sleuth people. You might, the podcast. I listen to the podcast. That's my big thing. I like those. I do watch some of the documentaries during the winter when I have time, but I like listening to the podcasts because then I get to kind of imagine it myself. And if I'm really intrigued, then I can go on and like kind of look up what things look like or whatever. But there are some really cool YouTubers too that do amazing work. So I don't need to tell you because I think that you already know. I think this is something that you are interested in. So I think that, you are in a place where you're kind of really, there's some kind of thing playing out that you are really into. This might be something going on in your own life. Hopefully it's not a true crime thing, but maybe there's just something afoot, right? With somebody in your family, in your friends group, your neighborhood, somebody at work, whatever it is, you are watching and you are, kind of just taking little mental notes. My daughter is always like, because I'm not like nosy, like I don't care what people are doing necessarily, like there's not judgment there, but I am vigilant. I do watch what's going on. I know like most of the people that live around me, I know their like schedules, when they sometimes around where they go to work, come home, like when things kind of are they're out of their normal routines and that kind of thing. And so my daughter will be like, oh, mommy likes to watch out the window. Usually I'm watching the animals, okay? We got squirrels and birds and whatever. But yeah, so I think that you are not unlike this, where it's not that you care necessarily. You don't have a lot of stake in what's going on with people. I don't think you're even gossiping about it. I don't think it's that kind of interest. I think you just like to observe the world around you. And it just so happens that there are people doing things around you and, you just kind of watch what goes on in your family, the people that they're involved with and all this kind of thing. You kind of just sit back and you let it play out. I don't think that you like to get into the mix too often. As we know, when you kind of put in your 2 cents, you're really kind of fitting to get burned on that. You just kind of hold back any kind of opinion about anything. So, when something happens or it doesn't go the way that, people don't react the way that you think they're going to, it doesn't become some kind of big drama. But I also think that in general, you just have, and this is that sacred heart, the burning heart, the kind of the heart of the love of Jesus, or, the love of God, the source or the divine agape, but also from kind of from the stance of being devoted to this path, right? It doesn't, I'm not saying this has to be Christian or any specific system, but being devoted to a spiritual path, okay? To your spiritual evolution. And I think that is definitely important to you. And I think that this archetype of the watcher, okay, of kind of being inquisitive but refrained, okay, remaining uninvolved, having kind of the ability to restrict yourself from becoming entangled. Okay. I think that that's a really interesting, and, you know, it's almost in some ways kind of like stoic, you know. I think that you don't always get super emotionally involved in what's happening. You just kind of see. You see what's happening. And, you know, I think that this is kind of, to me anyways, there is almost the feeling of a well-initiated person in this posture, because the emotionality is reserved for that which matters, right? So your interior involvement, your creative work, your beloved, your own truly important relationships where love lies for you. You don't spend that energy frivolously. Okay. It is delegated to higher pursuits. But that doesn't mean that you don't, you know, live in the world that we all live in. And you are also privy to the chaos that is happening in the world. You are privy to, you know, the kind of little micro universe of your neighborhood, of your family life, and so on. So, of course, you're involved in it. I think this is kind of how you're involved. But, you know, I also think, like I said, you like a mystery. You like maybe a whodunit. Maybe you read, you know, these kinds of novels, or, you know, you're a little bit of a, you like to study widely. You're a bit of kind of like a Sherlock Holmes, right? You have a lot of, you know, well-developed skills and skill sets and understandings and so on. The ever student. Okay, so I see a heart here. Okay, and up here I was looking at this one. It looks like a person who has their hands above their head. It looks like they're holding a sword almost. And kind of in a fighting posture, right? I also kind of see here a person, when we turn it this way a bit, a person with their arm here and their leg up, and it almost looks like, yeah, it almost looks like there's like a flame coming up, you know, or like I kind of thought, oh, maybe this is like a Scorpio, a scorpion. Like you're kind of, there's some kind of disharmony with a Scorpio person. And, you know, interestingly, as I'm looking at it and as I'm kind of thinking about it, it almost seems to me like this could be a family member who is past or is older. Okay, and I feel like there's almost like they have been a blockage for you to relate to parts of your family more deeply. Maybe they are kind of like a gatekeeper to old information, but like, you know, we all have those family members who just don't want to talk about old things, or, you know, for whatever reason, you just kind of don't get along. Maybe they didn't like your parents, or maybe you were kind of a kid they didn't like, and now as an adult, they just kind of like blow you off a little bit. Whatever it is, there's just a disharmony. And I think that it kind of, and because, I say this because I'm seeing this, it looks like a box that is incomplete. Like this part right here has to come together. And I feel like you have this real interest in getting squared away with your understanding, relationship with your elders, your ancestry, okay? And this person seems to be kind of blocking some of that, or at least not forthcoming about some of the information. Maybe they're just kind of a crotchety old person. Maybe, you know, there's just, I don't know, there's just kind of a weird wall aura surrounding this person. But I think that, and this comes to mind as it's a good time for you to work on some kind of ancestral shrine. Okay, some kind of place to put pictures, maybe, objects, offerings, prayers, appeals, communications to your elders, ancestors, family members. And I think that it's a good place to kind of a place of honor for your remembering, okay? And I think that even if you have trouble remembering, that when we create physical places like this, it is kind of like setting down our intention that we want to connect in this way. And I think that it kind of unlocks parts of our mind, parts of our psyche, our psychic ability, our relationship with the other side, or that kind of between side, so that we can commune, right? We can receive information and guidance. And, you know, connecting with our family members, our DNA, our elders, our, you know, the things that live alongside our bloodline, the protectors, the intelligences, it truly is something that we have to upkeep. You know, it never goes away, but it can wither, right? Those channels of communication. And that's, I think, why, you know, you meet people that have no relationship with the in-between, the other side, anything kind of what you would consider supernatural or spiritual. It just does not, it's not even that they don't have the ability, they just don't even think about it. It's just not even on their radar. And so I feel like these are like where links in the chain kind of break a bit. But then there are other people who are very awoken to it, very interested, driven, magnetized. They have that magnetic pull, right? It is kind of their part of their work to be a patron of the line. And so to take care, a shepherd, you know, a caretaker. And so I think that this maybe is partially your calling, is to take care of your family's history, your family's, you know, energies, their collective karma, you know, the joys and the sorrows, the, you know, victories and shortcomings and so on, right? All of it is wonderful and beautiful and terrible and, you know, full of secrets and misunderstandings and hidden things and, you know, shame and guilt and all of that. But it is still our families. And so, for better or worse, you know, we carry these things with us. And I think that in this sense, it's a good time for you to at least begin the stages. If you have not already, maybe you are already inclined to this, but to honor this line in your own way, right? You don't have to do this in anybody's there's no right way. But I think, you know, thinking about doing something like at least, you know, a mantle of pictures, but I think a shrine or an altar would be beautiful. And I think that it would bring a lot of you know, healing energy into your life and open up those channels more deeply and widely. Okay. I truly believe Spirit is smiling on you right now, you know, and I feel like there is a sense of weariness. I feel like you're feeling tired, a little worn down, maybe in the physical, but Spirit is with you. The universe is smiling on you. You have a lot of good things going. I see a little boat here, and I see some maybe rain coming. And so, you know, for Scorpio, I don't think a rainy day is a bad thing. You know, this is kind of a reprieve, a bit of allowance to be, you know, low-key melancholy for a minute, and to continue about your business. Keep moving through those emotional waters. And so I think, you know, it's a little bit of a blessing. And overall, I think, you know, a pretty good time for you right now, Scorpio. So I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm always so honored to be able to bring you these messages. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and that really pushes us out there to more and more people. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. If you want to watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising. A lot of people watch their Venus, which I'm finding out. And also do some cross-watching if you do that. And what that is, I didn't know until fairly recently. That is when you watch the readings for your loved ones, your kids, your significant other or crush or whatever. And if you want to leave a comment, I read all of them. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get back to them, but I do read them all, and they mean so much to me. They really are very touching. So I want to thank you, and we will talk again very soon.